All right, what's going on, Black Speakers Network family? Welcome back to part 2 of our Speaker Spotlight live interview series. That's right, we had so much interest and excitement. We had to break it up into 2 parts, and so we are back yet again, but that's a great thing. And so if you're just joining us for the first time and you're like, what the heck is going on? What's a Speaker Spotlight? Let me go ahead and tell you. First of all, my name is Brian Knowles, president and founder here at Black Speakers Network, where our mission is to equip, connect, and inspire the next generation of Black professional speakers. And you have joined our Speaker Spotlight series, which are 5-minute rapid fire interviews with speakers from across the Black Speakers Network community. And so as a part of BSN, we have what we call BSN premium members who are experts in categories from mental health to financial services to leadership development, you name it, we pretty much have it. And so one of the things that you will quickly learn is that if you're looking for a speaker at your next conference, workshop, seminar, live event, maybe you're looking for an MC, a panelist, a guest for your podcast, you're probably going to be able to find them in Black Speakers Network. And listen, these people know what they are talking about. And so if you are interested in learning more or browsing our full category of speakers, make sure you head over to blackspeakersnetwork.com/speaker directory. You'll find it listed right there, and you can find the speaker for you. Also, if you are a aspiring speaker and you're not yet part of the Black Speakers Network community, I don't know what you're waiting on personally, but you could fix that right away by going to blackspeakersnetwork.com/join and learning more about our Black Speakers Network premium program. If you're interested in booking your own Speaker Spotlight interview, then we have a spot waiting for you once you join. And so I am not going to waste any more time. I want to jump right into these interviews because we have some dynamic individuals that I want to introduce you to. I think I cut out for a second. But the reality is that these are individuals that I absolutely want to make sure that you get a chance to know. So first, we're going all the way to the great state of Georgia, and I'm going to bring up my very first guest, Miss Ayana Henderson. Ayana, welcome to Black Speakers Network Speaker Spotlight. Feel free to unmute yourself and tell the people a little bit about who you are.
Yes, because, unmuting is step 1, right? Because that's what we have to do as speakers. We have to speak, right? Listen, the mute button in this virtual world has been my best friend, I swear. But listen, guys, I am Ayana Henderson. I go by the Warrior Womanhood Coach. My platform is Warrior Womanhood. And I am on IG at Warrior Womanhood Coach, just so you know where to find me. But a little bit about me, I've worked in human resources for well over 10 years. And one of the things that I've been able to do in that profession is to observe human behavior. And so in observing human behavior, specifically women, I found that there's 3 things that we typically want, whether it's professionally or personally. And that is having power in our voice and really walking in our value and understanding our purpose. And so this has now transformed into working with Black and brown moms and helping them rediscover those 3 particular areas, because it's my belief that when the mom heals, we have the ability to change the trajectory of our children's lives and our children's children's lives. So I've taken on this mission as a generational change agent to be able to change the trajectory of where your kids are going simply by healing mom. I know it works because I did it myself. So that is a little bit about me. I have 4 wonderful children, ages 10 to 22, and I'm actually new to Atlanta. I just moved here last year. So it'll be a year in July. So big leaps of faith in 2021 and in 2022.
Wow, so much to say there, but I just want to make sure people caught that. You said generational change agent. Listen, I don't know what else. Like, I mean, we could probably stop the interview right there. Like, people need to know. Let's go follow her, a warrior woman coach. That is incredible. And there's a lot to unpack in what you just said. One thing I do want to point out is that I myself was I feel like HR is kind of an interesting journey. I know that's, an integral part of your story, doing it for 10 years. I am what I call a accidental HR practitioner. Like I just kind of, you get selected, elected, or kidnapped into the HR. But regardless, I have a special place in my heart for the people that do the important people work of ensuring that, our organizations have the talent and resources that need to move forward. But I love how you've been able to kind of parlay that. So can you tell us a little bit more? Obviously, you have a heart for moms and you are a mom. But what is it about working with moms that kind of is become a hallmark for you? I know you're saying that, moms, are essentially, part of the bedrock of the family. And if you can, make an impact there, you can make a difference. So what is it that you particularly enjoy about working with moms? And what do you see as kind of the work there that's so important to do?
So just a quick statistics breakdown. There's over 15 million children that are born in Black and brown families. And of the 15 million, like 7 of them, almost half of them are born to single moms. And so they're growing up in the household with just mom most of the time. Now, this isn't to discount dad. He does show up, but the statistics say that the majority of the time spent is with mom. And I had the fortunate opportunity to witness a generational curse play out before my eyes. I saw it in my mom. I saw it in my grandmother. I saw it start to show up in my daughter. And I knew I had already had it because one of my kids actually checked me on my anger. And so when I was in that moment and I was able to see it play down through 4 generations, the first thing God told me was, you can fix it. You can be the one to change it. And so I know if he'll do it for me, he'll do it for other moms. And so it's not just, sort of the thing that works or the thing that clicks or the thing I'm passionate about. It's what makes sense. And I am so big on making sure that the next generation has a viable opportunity to change the world. We talk about it, but now let's be about it. And from my perspective, that starts with mom. When mom heals, we really can change the world, literally just by starting with our own family. So, the family was the first organization to begin with. So why not take it back to the root level and fix that and then change lives from that point?
Well said. I 100% agree with that. Now, I know you have the Warrior Woman Coach, and as a community, so can you just walk us through a little bit about, what your community entails, why did you create it? And by the way, I think that, communities are like the future of business, and that's the place where, things really get done. But why did you create it? And, what can people find in the Warrior Womanhood community?
So community is huge for me. I'm always transparent and super vulnerable about my journey. Growing up, I was always like the neutral kid. I was the kid that wasn't quite with the cool kids, but I also wasn't kicked out of the cool kids. Like I knew all the cool kids, but I wasn't always quite part of the circle. And so I wanted to create a place and a space where we can just be. Like, that's really it. I call it space and grace because moms need that all the time. We don't get it right. We sometimes mess up in the things that we say. We want to take things back. And we're trying to figure it out because at the end of the day, kids are not born with a roadmap from birth to adulthood. And we all know adulting is hard. So we don't quite just get rid of them when they turn 18 either. And so I wanted to create a community that we could really support, receive prayer, a community where we can say momming sucked today and be received. And so in this community, there's an opportunity to request prayer for a specific thing. There's space and grace where we can just come and woo-saw. There are declarations and affirmations that are given out. But then there's also an academy where you can actually go through the healing journey that I went through, and you can actually heal in record time. And so it just gives you an opportunity for moms to really just have a space for themselves to breathe, to get resources, to get support, to get a you go girl, to run by scenarios and say, what would you do? This happened to me. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I have 3 boys, 1 girl. So when something happens with the girl, I have to rely on other moms who have other girls who are older than mine because there's wisdom and experience. And so it's okay to be able to rely on others for areas that you're not quite equipped yet to handle. And so that's what the community really provides. It's a free community. Any woman can join. And so we just offer that teachings and wisdoms, resources, sermons, whatever is needed to really build and support and surround mom around her journey, because momming ain't easy.
Momming is not easy. Momming ain't easy, And I know that as a boy, that grew up and gave my mother the blues. So she probably could have needed the warrior womanhood community about 30 years ago. So, but we got it now. So that's the important part. Right. Ayana, I end like we do always, give you the last word, and let us, if you could tell us, what do you want to be remembered for? At the end of it all, what do you want your legacy to be with this work?
So I would say like if I could leave a word, it would be generational health. We talk a lot about generational wealth and finances and money and legacy in terms of finances being passed down from generation to generation to generation. But I am also of the belief that that's great. But if you don't teach your children mental stability, emotional resilience, like really have some psychological foundation, some core values, some beliefs, morals, what do they stand on? Because as we know, if they don't stand for anything, they'll fall for everything, right? And so generational health along with generational wealth is really the key. You have to match that mental capacity. It doesn't make sense to give millions to a kid who's going to mess it up because their mental stability is not able to handle millions of dollars. Right? It's more than just educating about finances. It's also advocating therapy, heal, deal with some of the issues. Let me say this part. Part of the reason why it might be not as wise to just focus on generational wealth is because we're likely making decisions based out of our emotional wounds. That means we're also passing down the patterns in which we make decisions for our financial decisions. So it can't just be generational wealth. It also has to be generational health.
Listen, beautifully said. And we probably need to play that back a few times and let some people in the back hear it, because you just said a word and a word and a half, but it's so true. So Ayana, I want to thank you again. Listen, if y'all want to connect, if Ayana has said something that sparked you, if you're interested in getting connected with the Warrior Womanhood community, or you're looking for Ayana, a powerful speaker, to come into your organization, make sure you connect with her, blackspeakersnetwork.com/speaker-directory, and you can find her there. Ayana, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for being part of the Black Speakers Network community.
Thank you so much. This was all you're doing. You probably don't remember this, but you sponsored my first opportunity to train as a speaker.
Your first? Which was it?
Yep, you sponsored my training. I went on Clubhouse. I did a pitch. I knew nothing about public speaking. And you were like, you know what? I'm going to take care of you to do a class. And so you sponsored my first class, and that just kind of broke everything open. So this
I
is
do
the
remember
fruit.
that actually. Yes.
Yeah, this is
I
the
remember.
return on investment.
Outstanding. I love it. Like we just gotta keep paying it forward. So I know good things will happen. So thank you, Ayana. I appreciate that.
Thank you
And
so much.
we will see you soon. Thank you so much.
Yes. Have a great night.
All right, so there you have it. Part two of our BSN Speaker Spotlight. In the books, we are continuing to roll. Well, speaker number one is in the books. We're going right into our next speaker. And listen, if you are interested in being a part of the speaker spotlights in the future, I would absolutely love to interview you. Make sure you head over to blackspeakersnetwork.com/join and learn more about what it takes to be a Black Speakers Network premium member. But I have an exciting speaker coming up all the way from the West Coast. We went from Georgia. Now we're going over. Uh-oh. All right, we're back. Oh no, sorry about that. My computer,
You're good. Things happen.
yeah, my computer literally died.
Oh, no.
uh, but I think we're still live, which is interesting. So we're just going to roll. So Natasha is here. um, Word to the wise, anybody doing a virtual podcast or any sort of program, when your computer says, hey, you should probably plug me in, don't wait till the break, just plug it in right away, no matter what. But Natasha is here from Oakland, California, part of the Black Speakers Network community. Welcome, Natasha. Thank you for being patient. Can you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Natasha Ickes-Saman. I am from Oakland, California, born and raised in the Bay, Berkeley, and Oakland. Oh Lord, I won't get into my whole backdrop, but let's just say professionally, after dealing with depression and abandonment as a young child, I really suffered with struggled with trying to find my identity. And that took me down all types of wrong paths, whether that was addiction, homelessness, multiple suicide attempts. And finally, I had a come to Jesus moment where I really had to sit with myself and figure out how I could get from point A to point B. How do I move through the pain and the trials of life? And how do I step into my divine purpose and healing? And so that journey, which was a beautiful one, led to me opening my hair salon at the age of 26, which has now been running for 10 years. I became a part of the community, doing a lot of events where we give back and doing haircuts for the homeless. And then COVID happened. And like a lot of us, it was this big global timeout where we were kind of forced to sit down and reevaluate our entire lives. And in that moment, I said, okay, what can I do in this space? What is God trying to tell me? Where am I supposed to go next? And so I wrote this book, and it led to a whirlwind. It led to me traveling all over the world, doing speaking engagements. It led to coaching. It led to me being here. And it really led to me stepping into the next version of my life. So thank you so much, Brian, for having me.
Absolutely. Such a powerful story. There's so many things I want to dive into there. But one of the first things I'll just start with, you mentioned that you're a salon owner. And so you're kind of serving this dual capacity as, working in a brick and mortar business and also like speaking, you're an author. And so what is that like? What is it like kind of blending both of those worlds? Do they support each other? Do you find people because I feel like I don't spend much time in a salon, but watching movies like beauty shop and barber shop. Like I kind of feel like some of the similar things happen, when guys go get their hair cut. There's a lot of, life lessons and philosophy and stuff that spills out. And so is there any connectivity in between those two passions for you?
Absolutely. So on one hand, you touched on it, right? People will always joke I'm like their personal therapist or counselor. But it was really interesting because my salon was doing great and still is. I'm booked out months in advance. It was very, very successful, a huge overflow of clients. Thank God. I was bringing in people to take on the clients that I couldn't serve because I was booked so far in advance. So the speaking didn't start because I was looking for a new career. It didn't start because my salon wasn't going well. It started because I finally had enough time to sit down and be quiet and listen to my spirit and listen to God and listen to what I felt like was truly the next step in my life. Like the salon made sense. It made a lot of money and it's fun, but I didn't feel like I was truly living out my purpose. And I always tell people, your passion, right? These things you're passionate about. Your purpose is how you're able to use your passion to make the world a better place. So in the salon, I always say, I pamper you externally and I help build you up internally. But the speaking, the writing, and the coaching really connects with people on such a deeper soul level that has allowed me to step into a new arena in my life that has been such an incredible blessing for me.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I can see that. Like you kind of have to wear multiple hats. You're like therapist, you're consult, your beauty, but you got. I think I love kind of dissecting the journey a little bit and helping people realize that not all businesses are started out of this place of doom and gloom and poverty and everything's falling apart. Like you really built from a position of strength and just an internal awakening that there's more. And speaking of internal awakening, I know one of your signature talks is actually focused on using your deepest pain as a catalyst for success. And if that's doesn't get into the notion of manifesting miracles, what does? But can you tell us a little bit about that concept and what you normally are talking to audiences about when you go to deliver that message?
Absolutely. So I always say like challenges, pain, that's kind of a universal thread in the human experience, right? At some point, we're all going to go through something. And my something may be different and probably will be different than your something, but we're going to experience challenges in this life. Ayana was talking some stats and it made me think every 11 minutes, a life is lost to suicide in the United States. That was close to 46,000 lives in 2020 alone. And since the pandemic, those numbers have increased by like 51%. And then when you look at globally, I believe it was over 700,000 lives that are lost every single year to suicide. So I sat back and thought to myself, what does this mean? Right? What I went through is not unique to just me. A lot of us go through these challenges and don't know how to push through. But when you're able to shift the mindset and shift the perspective, you're able to change the way that you approach these challenges and move forward in a way that not only changes your life, but changes everybody's life around you. So when I'm going in and I'm speaking, I'm sharing tips and tools and strategies to deal with what you're going through, to process it, and then to look at it and extract the lesson and then move forward in a stronger and more powerful way so that you can really map out what you're going to do next, right? How am I going to use this as a catalyst to my success?
Beautifully said. Yeah, those are some startling statistics for sure. And I think conversations like this sometimes kind of serve as a catalyst and reminders. I'm sure, your message do as well, because we can become, numb and almost desensitized to things that are happening right in front of us in our own communities. And I think that it's important to really have forums where we can have those conversations, but not just talk about it, but be connected, to vehicles of change. And so I'm so excited.
It's not always, it's not always something horrible and depressing, right? It's not always that I lost, my mother, or I was in this tragic car accident. It can be something as simple as COVID happened and I lost my job, which is not simple, but what do I do next? It can be something that you know, a boyfriend of 6 months, we broke up, right? It's not always this like amazing life-changing thing, but it's like, how do we embrace change? How do we embrace being uncomfortable? How do we embrace things that are difficult and realize that we're becoming stronger and that our character is actually being shaped in these moments?
That is truth personified. Listen, you were dropping some. Remember how they used to have the television moments, like, and that's one to grow on. Like, I feel like that's kind of where we are right now. Like,
Yeah.
these are ones to grow on. But as we close out your conversation, because there's so many things I would love to ask you, and that's why I want to encourage people to connect with you here at Black Speakers Network. But for you, if you could wrap it up in maybe 30 seconds, what is the thing that you want to be remembered for? We're talking about legacy. So what is it that you want to ultimately be remembered for?
I love that you use the word legacy, because a lot of times people connect legacy with fame. But to me, legacy is how many lives can you change? And every single person that you touch is a network. So if I touch one person, then they touch 5. So I want my legacy to be that I help people embrace who they are, work through their challenges, and step into the next version of their lives with peace, power, and clarity.
Beautifully said. Listen, Natasha, thank you so much for sharing. And obviously, if you want to connect with her, make sure you head over to blackspeakersnetwork.com, blackspeakersnetwork.com/speaker directory. And guess what? The West Coast is here. Like, people keep sleeping. I know, like, you're in Oakland, California, but your impact is being felt around the world. And of course, now that you have the book and you have all these vehicles to be able to continue to share your message, I want to make sure that you continue to do that. So thank you, Natasha. And of course, thank you for being part of the Black Speakers Network community.
Thank you. Any other speakers, join this. I have gotten so many speaking engagements, places I'm flying out to, podcasts, all type of different stuff. His network, his space is the place to be if you want to gain traction in the speaking world. So thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much. Yes, you've been taking full advantage. And so y'all can keep sleeping, let Natasha get all the gigs if you want. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right. Well, today is a relatively short. We have one other speaker left. If you're just joining and you made it through the technical challenges and everything else that's happened, you're watching Black Speakers Network Speaker Spotlight. This is a series where we are interviewing as many speakers as possible within the Black Speakers Network community. And so if you are interested in being a part of that, make sure you head over to blackspeakersnetwork.com. But I am excited to bring in our last and final speaker for the evening, and that is none other than all the way from actually Charlotte, North Carolina. You're our second speaker today from Charlotte, Angela. But Miss Angela Brandt is in the building. As you can see, the world's #1 Master Fire Trainer is here. And Angela, welcome to BSN Speaker Spotlight. Can you please tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am Angela Brandt, aka known as the Girl on Fire. Not because I like fire, but because I know what it feels like to have been through so many different things in life. I know what it feels like to make a mess of your life. And that is why I love to help purpose-minded and ambitious women to turn her mess into her message that will ultimately position her to make millions and reach millions. And how I do that, one, is by helping her change how she sees herself. I believe when a woman sees herself as the powerful feminine force that she is, she can literally change the world by that one principle, is believing in what God placed on the inside of her.
Absolutely. Listen, I feel my keyboards like lighting up already. So that Master Fire thing, there's something to that. So I know you describe yourself as the Girl on Fire, freckled-faced female trailblazer with a mission to train 1 million women to speak, write, and coach. Can you tell us a little bit about like where that goal came from and like why 1 million women and like why speaking? Like, obviously we're here in Black Speakers Network, but what's the connectivity between speaking, writing, and coaching in your opinion?
Well, it's all the same, because as a speaker, I have to coach to help people to transform their life. And then I coach them in the form of writing. So for me, it's all the same. coach, writing, and speaking is just different avenues that you get your message out to the world, different avenues that you market who you are to the potential client that you want to be. A lot of new coaches and speakers don't identify with themselves as all three, but you have to have all three to maximize your potential and to maximize the income that you want to make.
Perfectly said. Now, you're working with women now. Can you give us some insight into your journey? Like, how did you get to this place of service? Like, how did you know that you were called to serve women specifically? And maybe was one or two of those notable moments that made you realize that, yes, this is something I'm going to actually dedicate my life to?
Well, it all started when I was a little girl. My house were always the house where my little cousins came. My mother, friends would bring their daughters to my house. I would have teenagers run away to my house, and I always helped them in some form or fashion. So as years, began to pass by, I got into ministry. I started my own women's ministry, and I was just out ministering to women, started support groups, doing just women's conferences. And when I told God I was never going to speak again, I had that pivotal moment, that life-changing moment that I realized that I really can get paid to do this. And that was in 2017. I started my business, and I've been literally on fire since then.
Wow, 2017. I can almost like see that little girl transition like up to that point, as I hear you talking. And so now, like, what is it that like gets you most excited? Obviously, I see you everywhere, events, conferences, webinars, podcasts. So I don't think it takes much to get you excited. But like, can you tell us a little bit about like on a daily basis, like what inspires you? What type of transformation do you like seeing, and what keeps you motivated?
I think the biggest thing for me is seeing a woman realize how powerful she is. And I see that sometimes on a daily basis as I'm coaching and training my clients when they say, AB, I get it. I see what you've been trying to tell me. Thank you for believing me. Thank you for pushing me. And for me, that is transformation. It's not always helping somebody out the situation, but helping them to see themselves and then them getting themselves out of that situation. For me, is watching her when she hit the stage for the first time, telling her story, all the techniques that I teach her doing training. Is seeing that moment that gets me excited every day. Is me talking to, connecting with the women who did not feel that they was good enough to do this, or they wasn't qualified to do this, or somebody told them there wasn't their time. And that's what my passion is, because who told you it wasn't your time? Who told you that you're not good enough when God placed everything that you need inside of you? My job is to help you to pull it out and bring it to the world so that you can create your legacy through speaking, writing, and coaching.
And we've talked a lot on the BSN Speaker Spotlight series about some of these reoccurring themes, confidence, believing in yourself. Is there anything that, like one message that you would like to share, with, women or, people listening right now that you typically would be talking to in your programs or your audience? Like, what is the one message that you, that seems to most often hold people back from taking that step, that you see them take that breakthrough? Like, what message would you share with them now that you would want them to know and take with them as they move forward?
Ignite her fire. And the fire simply means embracing your feminine energy, developing your impact, tapping into your riches so that you can show up extraordinary. That's the fire method that I coach, train, and speak from. Is igniting your fire, because it's in the fire, it's in your feminine energy, it's in your impact, it's in your riches, it's in you showing up extraordinary, that you see what you are capable of doing as a woman, as a speaker, period. That would be the message that I would give them. Ignite her fire. She deserves it. Your future version deserves for you to ignite her fire.
Absolutely amazing. And so I'll leave it, Angela, with the closeout question that we leave everyone with, which is at the end of it all, what is it that you want to be remembered for?
That I live full and I die empty. I lived a life knowing that I was enough to train all the women that God sent my way. knowing that I was well qualified to write every book that I thought I couldn't write, knowing that I touched the lives that God sent my way, and I did it in the full way. I did it knowing that this is my assignment, that when I died, there was nothing else left for me to do, that I've trained, I've spoken, I've written, I've done everything. Harriet Tubman said this. She said, I could have freed more slaves if they knew they were bound. I would say I could have trained more women only if she knew she needed training.
Beautifully said. Listen, Angela Brand is here and Black Speakers Network and beyond. If you want to connect with her, make sure you head over to blackspeakersnetwork.com/speaker-directory and connect with her. If you're a woman that is ready to be ignited, listen, there's nothing else to be said. You just need to take action. And so, Angela, AB, as they call you in the streets, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for continuing to do what you do. And of course, thank you for sharing tonight and being a part of Black Speakers Network.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Join if you're listening. If you have not joined, you won't regret it. Take advantage of the opportunity.
Listen, that's where the rubber meets the road. You hit the nail on the head. Thank you, Angela.
You're welcome.
All right. So, thank you so much. So we are done, guys. Listen, that is the Black Speakers Network Speaker Spotlight live interview series. And again, if you are a meeting planner of any kind, I don't care when you're listening to this, we're not going anywhere. And so we have so many incredibly talented experts that are ready to light up your stage and share their thought leadership and their expertise. And so if you're looking for that speaker, make sure you head over to blackspeakersnetwork.com/speaker directory. And if you are interested in being on a speaker spotlight, I want to interview you. So all you have to do, one, is be a Black Speakers Network premium member. Black Speakers Network premium member. So you can head over to blackspeakersnetwork.com/join and make sure you do that. Once you join, don't just sit there, but make sure that you fill out your speaker directory so that we can add you to our online speaker profile. And then you will be able to do one of these spotlight interviews. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We send out speaking opportunities every single weekday, Monday through Friday, to national conferences, seminars, workshops, events that are looking for speakers. We have training on a regular basis, and we have an incredible community of other speakers for you to learn from. And so I'm excited to meet you. And as we always say here in Black Speakers Network, keep speaking up. Your audience awaits. And if you want to get more information on BSN, here's a short video that will kind of give you the rundown, and we'll see you next time. Being at a HBCU like Morgan State University, I saw firsthand the talent, the expertise, the creativity that we bring to the table when it comes to this world of public speaking.
Black Speakers Network is a space where I can interact and engage with my tribe, with Black speakers.
It's all reflective of an abundance mindset that there is enough for all of us to win big.
BSN serves others not only in community, culture, but around the world.
BSN not only helped me book additional paid opportunities, but gave me the accountability and confidence booster I needed to really strive and thrive consistently in my business.
They curate all the engagements and email them to you. So all you have to do is simply click and apply to the one that's applicable for your niche.
I have built my business and have expanded my knowledge, met amazing people, and I have landed several speaking engagements.
I truly thank the entire team behind Black Speakers Network for helping me share my story with the world.
In less than 3 years, I was able to increase my visibility, my credibility, and even my connectivity.
What I experienced with BSN is phenomenal connections. And I've met so many great people that have added value to my life in ways I just wouldn't have expected.
If you want to speak on college stages, BSN has something for you. If you want to speak and sell, I feel like BSN has a cohort for you.
At the end of the day, Black Speakers Network is really there for anyone who is longing to reach the audience that they're called to serve.
Black Speakers Network truly is a place where you can feel like you're home.
If you are on the fence, get off the fence and join the family. You won't regret it.
It is the #1 organization that I recommend that every speaker become a member of if you really want to catapult your success and maximize to its fullest potential your voice.